Join me today as we make fish au papillote. It's a super simple but such a fancy dish that you or your guests will love. So first we're gonna be making the saffron lemon rice. We're gonna start with getting saffron. You can find this in most of the grocery stores nowadays. It's a spice that some people are a little intimidated of, and I was too, but my mom is the queen of all spices and she taught me how to use it, and it's pretty simple. So first, we're going to start with anywhere between 8 to 10 pieces of saffron. They're tiny little things, and putting them in water helps them bloom. And I'm gonna drop them straight into the water here. And blooming the saffron really just means allowing the flavors to come alive. So we're gonna let that do its thing. Saffron gives the rice a really nice flavor when paired with fish, but it's also giving it a beautiful yellow color. And when you're working with whether it's salmon or whitefish, it just makes a pretty bed of rice for the fish to go on. So we're gonna let that bloom for a little bit. In the meantime, we're gonna take a lemon, we're going to zest it. I'm zesting about half of it right now, and we're going to pop that straight into the water as well. Let the flavors do their thing. Now this dish I learned from my mom, of course. My mom is one of those people where you walk into her house, and if she knows you're coming, you walk into the smell of absolutely every flavor you could possibly think of. She has meat going, she has a rice dish going, she has salad. About an hour into us being there, we're full and we can't get off the couch. The lemon, I did about half of a lemon zested, and it looks good to go. So I'm going to drop in 1 cup of rice. I'm just making enough for 2 people here. This is pre-washed, and 2 cups of water. And I'm going to do a touch bit less because I have a little bit of water in there for the saffron. Okay, that should be good. We're gonna cover it, put it on high, and as soon as it boils for a couple minutes, then I reduce it to simmer and let it just sit there for about 20 minutes. And while that's going, we're gonna switch gears and make the fish. Fish au papillote is fish wrapped in parchment paper, and that allows for the fish to steam in all the flavors that you put it in. With the dressing, first we're going to put in a lot of olive oil. I use about a tablespoon per salmon fillet. So about 2 here, half a lemon squeezed. Okay. Then we're gonna mix it up and add, of course, some pepper and salt. Now fish likes some salt. If you've had fish, you know that with a little bit of salt, all the flavors come alive and it makes it so much juicier, and it really just brings out a beautiful taste. It's gonna mix this together, gonna set it aside. Then we're going to grab our sheet pan and put a 12 by 12 sheet of parchment paper right on here. Gonna grab our salmon, and we're going to skin side down, place it right in the middle of the parchment paper. Then we're going to drizzle about half of this mixture right on the salmon. And again, fish au papillote is a super easy recipe, but it's also really fun for when you have guests over, because the end is such a surprise when they get to open up that beautiful parchment paper and just smell all those Mediterranean spices and flavors. It's such a fun presentation with such a simple dish. I'm going to sprinkle feta cheese. I like to buy feta by the block and then crumble it myself. Once the feta is on, we're going to cut up our tomatoes and our onions. With the tomatoes here, I have cherry tomatoes, and I bought a variety of different colors because they are just gorgeous. Look at these. Going to add in as much of those colors as I possibly can. And you can't go wrong with this. If there's an ingredient that you don't like, totally fine to sub it out for something else. And place the tomatoes wherever you want to on the fish that looks good. So this is what I've done. Then we're going to add some onion. This is one of those recipes that I practiced when we would take our family fishing here at Ocean Shores. We would go out on the river, and gosh, it was just always so much fun to take our family out to fish the river, get some fresh air. The boys wanted to be just like Dad. So we would get them sticks and have them throw them in the water and try to catch a fish. And we would come home, and I just loved making so many different dishes with the salmon. And because I have 4 children, I like to multitask when I'm making food. I jump between the rice and the salmon and all the different sides all the time. It just makes it so much easier to make a delicious, healthy dinner for my family. So I've added some onions here, and we really just need a few. I'm going to top it with a few sprigs of mint. I like to do 2 sprigs just for the decoration aspect of it, and then toss in a few leaves. So this is what it looks like now. And next step here is to cut a piece of baking twine. And I do about 12 inches for each fillet. So I'm going to cut it right here and squeeze it underneath the fillet. So the best thing to do here is to squeeze it underneath the parchment paper. Then we're going to wrap this with the corners first. Kind of like you wrap a burrito. And then we're going to turn it in one side. Then you're going to turn in the other side, do a cute little bow. And then we're going to pop this in the oven at 350 for about 8 to 10 minutes. And this is going to be baked in all these yummy flavors with a fresh mint, lemon. Okay, so now that it's all nice and snug, look how cute it is. We're gonna quickly prepare the next one, and then I'm going to pop them into a preheated oven on 350. So this is a good time to preheat your oven, and while I get the next one going. And now we're going to check on our jasmine rice that I've infused with saffron and lemon zest. This is when I like to add salt. Add as much salt as you like. Just a few pumps will do for me. Going to mix it up, and kind of try it a little bit. The fish is done, so let's grab it out of the oven. It smells so good. Let's plate it up so that we get to try it. I'll take the big one. Oh man, look at that. I'm excited to try this one. A last little squeeze of lemon and a little bit more salt. I always like to do just a tiny little bit at the end. All right, now let's give it a shot. Look at that beautiful flake. Oh man. I wish you could be trying this with me because this looks so good. The brininess in the feta it just goes beyond. And the fresh tomatoes pop in my mouth. And the fresh mint. I'll be right back. It's gonna take me a while to eat this one.